The following program, the John and Gordy Morning Show, is brought to you by John Peterson and Gordy Young, a wholly owned subsidiary of John and Gordy Productions, in association with Civic Media and the John and Gordy Company, Incorporated International. And now, here they are, John and Gordy. We're sorry.
In the morning.
Yep.
And another day. Another big day of news. Man, it just keeps pouring out, doesn't it?
It sure does. Crazy day.
How do we do this?
I don't know. What do you say after yesterday? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. There's so much news, so many things. I was thinking just kind of to break the mold a little bit and get Catherine just really angry. And that is not to have a conversation about any of these stories. Just read the damn stories. Just plow through all of these stories that just keep pouring out of the administration, pouring out of the news media. I would love to you wouldn't believe the stuff that we never get to. You'd freak out. You'd want to stay indoors all the time. You never want to leave the house.
It's hard to keep up with everything. You're saying.
That's
just
basically
there's so much
it.
stuff.
There's so much stuff. I mean, it would just blow your mind.
Yeah, boggles the mind. Yeah.
Well,
maybe we should just hang it up right now.
Well,
Call it a day and
maybe
play some Christmas music. What do you think
that
of
would be the thing to do. Let's
just walk away. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So 8 minutes past the hour. It's cloudy out there. Yeah, and it's tough on a day like yesterday in Madison.
The school shooting.
I mean, what can you say? I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I was telling Sophia, it's crazy that I've lived in two places that it's happened now. And then she replied, it's not that crazy anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah. All too commonplace. It's been 25 years since Columbine, 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Something like 400 school shootings. Mass shootings since then. And add Madison to that list. It's just sad and maddening. And,
My wife is looking at the manifesto that this young girl had put out.
Really?
Now, she wasn't sure it was real or not, and I don't know if it's real or not, so we're going to try and uncover that this morning anyway. I'll look before we get to that particular story if it's real. So we'll find out.
All right, well, let's move on to weather for today. It's going to be cloudy. It's already pretty cloudy out there, and it's going to stay cloudy through the day. Right now, 33 degrees. We can fire up the roulette wheel and see what the afternoon high might be. And as it goes around, spinning around. 36 degrees.
Give it a little too hard of a spin today.
You really put your muscles behind that.
It's just lubricated too well.
I guess so. This portion of the John and Gordy Show is brought to you by our friends at Verlo Mattress, where you can dream bigger and sleep better on a handcrafted Verlo mattress. Find them on Madison's east side or west side, or just go online at verlo.com and also find out about their lifetime guarantee on their handcrafted mattresses. Verlo.com. All right. 10 minutes past the hour.
Catherine has said, just read for a day and like it, John. Apparently, she just doesn't want our input to all these stories that we cover.
Yeah, apparently.
All right.
Well,
no, we'll do what we normally do. I was just imagining what it would be like if we just plowed through all of the stories day after day, and just freaked everybody out.
It would be a freak out.
We probably wouldn't have any listeners after that.
Maybe not.
What if we pull out a book and we read from that? Maybe people will enjoy a good story.
That's not a bad idea.
Distraction from reality.
There's a few books over there on the bookshelf we've got in the station. I don't know if anybody's ever read any of those books, but it looks nice.
I think, if we add a little something to reading that book,
little music or something?
Yeah, I was listening to Schwab on the way in. He was talking to a comedian who does an act, of course, really good act
Yeah.
on Wisconsin and how we talk in Wisconsin, our accent.
Right.
And I think if we read a book in a Wisconsin accent, that
Yeah.
would be fun and funny.
Maybe a chapter a day or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, if we can get somebody in here who can read like that. It's been drummed out of me for the last 50 years.
You don't really have a Wisconsin accent.
I don't.
And I don't think I really do either.
I can't fake one
It's
either.
Midwest. but
Yeah.
not Wisconsin-y. Yeah.
Maybe
Sam.
Sam talks like
Yeah,
a
what do you
Wisconsin.
think? Do you think I have a Wisconsin accent?
Uh,
Because Sophia
Maybe.
certainly seems to think that I do. I, until I met her, did not think that I did.
I don't think you have much of one at all. No.
okay. Hey, let's get to the National Day Calendar. What do you say?
The comedian was saying basically.
Breckenridge?
Yeah. He was basically saying, I always used to follow everything up with or no. Or no.
Or no.
Are you going to go to the concert or no?
That's a good line.
People
Yeah.
pointed that out as a fantastic way of describing it.
Yeah, or no. Okay, let's get to the
All right, here we
National
go
Day
again.
Calendar. Is it or is it not? National Say It Now Day. Is it National Maple Syrup Day? How about National Wright Brothers Day? Or National Percolating Coffee Day? That's an easy one today, boys.
Wow. It's not National Percolator Coffee Day
Well, you are right for a
There you go.
change.
because Sam brought in his percolator today so
Well,
we
you
could try
mentioned
some
it
of that
yesterday.
coffee.
You never actually tried any when I
Right.
brought it in last time.
Right,
Yeah.
so today we're going to try some.
Yeah.
And
Is it done? How do you know when it's done?
It's got a little light on the side.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
so our listeners
Mm.
out there right now are wondering, well, what does that do for us? You're going to taste coffee. How are we going to enjoy that?
Everyone is going to go out. I think
Yeah.
they still sell them new, actually. Everyone is going to go out to Walmart and buy themselves a percolator.
Yeah,
They're going to try it out with us.
They have them at Walmart?
I think they might.
Oh, I think
they
they
may
have
just
them
have them there.
everywhere. Yeah. I know you go to the resale shops. They have a lot of them there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of the pet peeves that I have of all time in radio.
What's that?
We used to have people in who brought food in, and we described that food to people, the listeners, and we'd have great lunches and we'd have great breakfasts.
Right.
And people would bring fantastic food in for the announcers, and we'd sit there, oh, this is the best. Oh, you should try this. Oh, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
And the listeners, not getting it.
How many people do you think thought that you were making it all up? That you
Hmm.
weren't actually eating any food?
Now, there's the thought. We could have made all that up.
You
if we
could have,
wanted
yeah.
to.
Yeah. Well, we've had a pretty good supply of food here, it seems,
Yeah.
at least lately,
Right.
because of the holidays,
Exactly. I was
That's
hoping, the Sugar River
right?
pizza. I was glad they didn't bring any in because again,
too
it
early
would
in
be
the
one of
morning.
it would be one of those situations where we're having pizza, we're eating it in front of you, our listener, and that's so rude.
It's
right?
rude.
It's
Yeah,
rude.
Very rude. Okay.
Well, that's the way it is. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
The same thing with talk shows. The early morning talk shows on the big networks. They have all these food people in. They always taste food, and it makes me angry because
You can't have it.
I don't know what it tastes like. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this to me?
Yeah. Well, this is right up your alley, this National Day Calendar today.
Oh yeah.
National Say It Now Day.
Mm-hmm.
National Say It Now Day is a day to tell your friends and loved ones how important they are by expressing gratitude for all the ways they've impacted our lives. So, be nice to your family and friends. With the year winding down, perfect time to show gratitude. Gratitude seems to be the word here. Mentioned it a couple of times here. We all need to make time for gratitude, according to the National Say It Now Day folks. But they have a little company, I
Wow.
guess. Gives us a chance to pause and reflect on what people mean to us. We encourage people everywhere to take a moment to tell them, okay, this is pretty much just going in circles here. Let's move on. we all have a lot of gratitude for all of our family and friends. Okay.
It's funny because when you said that, we're
Didn't
pretty
sound
much
like I
going
meant
in
it?
circles. No.
Yeah.
It
I went right back
it
in the
made
circle.
me realize
Yeah.
that I'm just sitting here, in a daze listening to what you're saying. And you're
That's
just
pretty much
saying
every-
it over and over and over again.
You want me to read it again?
No.
Okay.
And remember, we're gonna try and phase this National Day calendar thing out
We're going to phase it out.
because we have
Keep
already
trying.
we read this stuff last year.
But it's been a year,
It
so
doesn't change.
it doesn't. Okay. It's National Maple Syrup Day. Well,
Well,
until we find something to replace this,
This is fun stuff.
Sure it
maybe
is.
there's something new in here.
Oh, yeah.
that we never covered before.
National Maple Syrup Day is today. Get the flapjacks ready. Oh, remember when we used to go down to the place down the street there? That
Short
was fun.
Stack.
Those were
Great
fun
place.
days.
I love that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a funny coincidence because
What?
my son came up this morning as I was getting ready to leave for work.
Yeah?
I had some French toast, my famous
man.
French toast,
Oh.
and I had the maple syrup on it, and it's really good, dark maple syrup, good flavor. But he's saying, I want to get my Canadian maple syrup again.
Okay.
It comes in cans.
Oh, Canada.
So he's looking for it online.
Yeah?
So he wants to get good maple syrup for the French toast.
You're making me really
Are people
hungry
using
right
a whole can's worth of syrup at once?
No, no.
How do you reseal it then? Like,
You put it in a bottle of some sort.
Oh.
We have a maple syrup bottle that we normally just recycle and keep using. Pour the other syrup in, and it's cans. It's
Right.
in cans in Canada.
Yeah. Well,
But it's really,
I
really
know.
good.
Yeah. You got to get the good stuff. Yeah.
You really do. And if you're buying maple syrup, get the dark stuff, the flavorful stuff. Sometimes on the label they tell you heavy flavor or for cooking or some weird thing like that. But it's really that's the maple syrup, not the light stuff.
Right. There are different flavors there. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Can you check that out? You see that word that begins with an X?
Oh, yeah.
Xylem?
Xylem.
Xylem?
Yeah, I think so.
Xylem sap?
Yeah.
Sugar maple. There's red maple, black maple trees. The maple syrup comes from different kinds of maple
I did
trees.
not know that.
Trees in cold climates. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay.
All right.
Enough on maple syrup.
Okay. All right.
One more here, real quick, like or no. Wright Brothers Day. It's Wright Brothers. They flew that plane on December 17th. They went up in the sky, flew it around a little bit. Orville and Wilbur, first successful flight on December 17th, 1903, near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Does that count as reading from her history book?
I think so. Well, kind of.
Now
But-
we don't have to open it this
Well,
morning?
we're going to open up the history book
Oh,
anyway
God.
here in
you
just a
can't
minute.
stop me, John.
Yeah. Sam's got that look in his eye this
does.
morning. Yeah.
The zest.
Also, really interesting hairstyle. Okay. 18
It's
minutes
called
past.
bedhead.
Look like flock of seagulls kind of thing going on. 19 past, coming right back.
.7 WMDX. John and Gordy in the morning.
Good morning to you. 21 past the hour, cloudy and 33 degrees. Why are we playing The Simpsons? Is it time to? Does this have something to do with our history book thing?
Oh boy, does it!
Oh, it
Okay.
must.
Well,
Okay.
ready to open the
This is a
books.
big day for the Simpsons.
Why don't you
I
try
think.
opening the book slowly for a change?
Yeah.
Just nice,
I don't know if that.
so the dust doesn't go. You always slap it down and
Yeah,
I will
what's that?
throw
try,
it open.
Gordon. I'll try.
That's half the problem. Cough, cough.
Oh God, it's so heavy. It's such a heavy book. I just can't
There's a lot of history.
grip the cover well enough to. Yeah, there's so much history
Yeah.
being made every minute of every day.
Well, I guess that didn't work.
Yes,
Dust
we
everywhere
played
again.
the Simpsons theme. Today
Okay.
in 1989, the Simpsons made their debut on TV.
That was a wonderful day, I guess.
That's a long-running show,
It's a
that's
long-
for sure.
Yeah.
Which one of you has the Simpsons watch? Is it you, John?
I have one.
Oh, you do, Gordy.
It's broken, but I'm going to get it fixed. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a original Bart Simpson watch, only given out to the program or the marketing people that were Fox affiliates at that time.
and you
know what?
worked at Fox
I think
47
you got
at
me
the time.
one.
Did I get you one? Too?
I think you got me one because
Yeah.
I have a Simpsons watch.
Is it
a Bart
Does
Simpson?
it got Bart on it?
Yep.
Yeah. Does it still work or no? Or
no. I mean, the batteries ran out a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to get mine fixed. It might be worth something.
Well, it
Uh,
probably doesn't need to be fixed, just a battery put in.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And does that debut of their TV show, or was that when they appeared on the Tracy Ullman
I
show?
think it's the Tracy Ullman show
Yeah.
debut
Yeah.
because I think the actual season 1
Right.
debut was in 1990. I could be
Yeah.
wrong about that.
Okay.
Does it make you feel old that my mom was still in high school when that happened?
God,
Oh, good. Why did
can't
you-
feel
why
any
did you-
older.
You had to throw that in, right? Now we feel old. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Creaky.
Every day Sam does something to make me feel older.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Gordy.
No charge for that.
Let's see what else we got in the history books. Today in 1933, the NFL hosted a championship game for the first time. It was the Bears versus the Giants. The Bears won.
The Bears won?
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy stuff.
It
Okay.
happens.
It can happen from time to time. Today in 1963, the Clean Air Act was passed. Of course, some people want to get rid of that now. They don't.
Well, now
Well,
now
they
that
are.
we have clean air, we
Yeah.
don't need
We
that
don't need
anymore.
Yeah,
that
we
anymore.
cleaned it up. Now we don't
Sure.
got to worry about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Problem solved.
Okay.
Some recent history today in 2010. The incident that began the Arab Spring protests happened.
I'm trying to
You
think
familiar?
what that was. What was the incident?
I forget who it was exactly, but somebody lit themselves on fire in a street in protest and led
Okay.
to a number of democratic uprisings in a couple countries in the Middle East.
Okay.
It's also
The opposite of that, of course,
Yeah.
is the emoji that Sherry sent us this morning. Of
that. What did she send us?
it's a bird wrapped up in Christmas lights.
Oh, poor bird. It's a penguin.
Oh, it is a penguin. Yeah.
I see. And it's wrapped up in Christmas lights and kind of dancing back and forth. That's cute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
She always brightens our day,
She does.
does.
no matter what.
Mhm.
Okay.
We've got one birthday today. It's Pope Francis's birthday. Happy birthday to the Pope. He's getting pretty old. He was born in 1936.
Wow.
Which would make him 64,
What,
80
92?
or 80 nobody can do math.
He's one of the better
Or not-
popes.
90
94.
He's been
90.
one of the better popes.
Yeah. 90, is that right? No, it's not 94.
Yeah, Catherine's up
98.
this early in the morning. What is she doing up this early?
88. 88.
88.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally figured it out. Okay.
There's a reason I
this is
stopped
boring as hell.
going to school to be a math teacher.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, you know what? Just keep your math in the classroom and don't bring it in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine was wondering if she heard a seagull, and you did in the song that we were.
Yeah, the flock
Yeah,
of seagulls.
Learning to Fly by Tom Petty.
That's
There,
right.
There's
Right.
bird sounds at the end.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not your imagination. You're not hallucinating on coffee. We've got percolator coffee, by the way. Are you?
I can't wait
did
to
you
get
already
to it.
make it?
Yeah.
It
yeah.
should be done
I've
by
got
now.
some in my cup right now.
Yeah. Is there a noticeable difference in the taste from
Well,
whatever you
depends
normally have?
Depends what kind of coffee you use and
Okay.
how it's I mean,
Well, what kind
you
of
can
answer
make,
is
you can make
that?
coffee.
We're just asking you.
You can make it
I
taste
don't
however
care
you
what
want.
coffee. I don't care what coffee you use.
Okay,
What's the flavor
Well,
like?
Percolator's got a smaller basket than in like a drip maker, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so you got to use coarser coffee, otherwise
You do.
it'll
Yeah.
overflow because it
Really?
doesn't drain fast enough.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's coarser ground and it tastes a little different because of that.
All right. Well, I know that you probably made it correctly. I'm not questioning whether you made it correctly or not. How does it taste?
Go try some. You'll try some in 3 minutes when
Okay.
when we go to commercial.
All right. We'll do that. We'll do that.
All right.
Is it decaf or regular calf?
It's just regular, I think.
Did you pick out a flavored? Is it Hills Brothers or Maxwell House? Just something like that?
Well, I couldn't find any like coarse ground stuff like in a can, so I had to go to the grocery store and actually buy beans there.
Ah, and then grind
I
them.
don't remember what I got.
I've got a grinder.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Nice.
I don't.
Good for you.
Thanks for sharing.
yeah. What do we got coming up later today?
Well, what
Well,
we've got coming up later on?
Something we've never done before, but
We've
get
got
to
a
that.
little game to play with the Humane Society. Is
Right.
that correct?
Yes, Dane County Humane Society.
We're gonna play board games with dogs.
Close.
Different kind of
Possibly.
game.
No, it's a
Different kind of
it's a dating game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been looking for a dog, and we're going to try this dating game thing.
All right.
Gordy is the spitting image of an eligible bachelor.
I don't know about you, but I'm just going to sit back and watch this unfold. I don't.
Thanks for your support.
No one's talked to me about this. I'm just fine. I'm going to be the audience.
Okay.
I'll clap or boo.
I think the idea is we're going to do this for several weeks
Oh,
and probably pick a contestant each week that'll be in the finals, something like that.
so we're gonna reject
You're not going to reject
animals,
any,
dogs,
No.
pets, cats.
These
We're
will
gonna
still
just-
be available for anybody to
We're just going to say,
adopt.
well, that dog's not that cute. I think we'll move on.
No,
The
it's not like that.
the dog dating game.
You'll
right?
see how it all. We'll all find out together. We're kind of workshopping this thing as we go. So, I think it happened.
I'm thinking that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And what else?
Also, what we got coming up is vouchers closing at least 24 public schools in West Virginia.
Oh, man.
Very odd. We're going to also talk to Busted Pencils about this in a couple of days. So
Okay.
it's a big story.
Excellent. 29 minutes past the hour. Coming right back with Idiocracy on John and Gordy in the morning.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point, a dumbing down. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduced the most and left the intelligent to become an endangered species.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Now listen, Grapehead. I'll explain it so even you can understand it.
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
It's John and Gordy in the morning, and we've got Idiocracy for you. Stories that are just too hard to believe sometimes,
Yep.
But, we got to keep moving forward.
That's it.
Yeah. And this, it's kind of moving backwards. Vouchers have forced the closing of 24 public schools in the state of West Virginia. West Virginia's voucher program sent 10,000 students to private schools last year.
Wow.
One school community lost $1 million in funding. Now the state is closing 24 schools because of the voucher program.
They're
We're gonna
closing 24 public schools.
That's right. And we're going to talk to Busted Pencils, Tim Slecker, in the next couple of days about all of this. He wants to definitely talk about this story. The results, Charles Goff, mayor of the town of 100 in Wetzel County, said this to the board members, and I thought this is just, this says it all here. And I've been talking about this a long time, driving through one of these small towns in northern Wisconsin that lost their elementary school.
Right.
This sums it up. He said, most towns die after a closure of a high school. They lose incorporated status. They lose elected officials in town. And it leads to fire departments closing and town charters being revoked. That includes losing EMS. We're an hour away now from the hospital and fire and EMS, which are crucial to our community. That's what happens to a small town when their schools close.
Isn't that something?
And vouchers have caused this. And it just continues. And, this isn't a news story. This is what's going on all over the country. We're ignoring it. These are local stories that we don't get to read about nationally. And this is another big red flag that we should pay attention to this.
Right.
Just having a voucher program isn't the be-all, end-all. I've never understood why we want to escape schools instead of fixing the schools. Well, my school is really horrible. I want to go to a private school that has absolutely no oversight by the state and your tax dollars. No one's watching what they're doing, and we're going to just send people to it. Again, it's not logical. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not worth your money.
And the impact of closing of public schools, it impacts, like you just read, in the whole community.
Right.
The whole community, because that's a gathering place for high school football or basketball or for,
bake sales,
all kinds
whatever
of
you
activities.
want to put together.
Yes, concerts.
Well, during the summer, they have their softball games, soccer games. They just have things going on at these schools.
Yeah. And choir concerts, all these things.
Yeah.
Just gone.
And the town folds up. It just, everybody stays in their houses. They're not getting back together again.
Yeah. And to be an hour away from the nearest hospital now in that area, Wetzel County.
Yeah.
West Virginia. Jeez.
In these statewide programs, in Arizona, they have a statewide voucher program. And it costs, an exorbitant amount of money. They made an estimate of how much it would cost. It went so far beyond that cost, the estimate, that it's just ridiculous. They're going broke. Basically, the state's going broke just funding this voucher program that they have in Arizona. And it's going to happen everywhere else. It's funny, when this happens in Arizona and all these other states decide to pass that same voucher law in their state, why
would you do that?
Why would they do it then? They're seeing another state go broke instantly because it costs too much money, and yet they go ahead and do it anyway. It's ideology.
Yeah.
And we were run like that when Scott Walker was the governor. It was pure ideology. It didn't make any sense. It didn't help people in the state, the stuff that they passed and they did. It was something, it's a wish list for their party platform. It's what they want to accomplish. Not helping people, not solving problems in the state, just doing what they need to do to make their party, the dominant party.
Sam, does that make you want to be a teacher even more? Schools are closing.
Well, I'm trying to remember what
People are out of
exactly I
work.
put on my application essay, but I said something along the lines of, like, with all of the terrible things going on in education and all, like the world in general today, I think now is the time not to like abandon our kids in public education, but to double down and like put even more effort into it.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. Good thought.
All right, now let's get to this this drone problem that we have.
It's still happening?
Oh boy. It's
Do
the
we have
invasion.
any more information? Is it
Anybody
aliens?
shoot one down yet?
Invasion of the drones.
Cast a net over them?
Well, this is the crazy. Okay, I think the whole thing is crazy. Why don't we just tell people what the hell's going on instead of playing this cat and mouse game? God, I just don't get this. It's like the weather balloon situation. My God,
Well, the White House
just
said
tell
it.
us the truth.
Yeah, White House said nothing to worry about.
I know.
That's the headline over
Please
that.
help me. Please help me.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, Politics Video Channel discovered them lately. They're pretty credible.
Okay.
Anyway, they came out with this. Republicans are accusing Joe Biden of using the drones to create a chilling government plot to suspend the Constitution and stop Trump from becoming president. Wow.
This is connected to the drones
Yeah.
flying around?
You know, I had no
What?
idea that this was taking place.
It's all a plot.
It is a plot. In fact, it's so much a plot that even Roseanne Barr found out about it.
Oh, boy. Can't wait to hear what she had to say.
Oh, she posted the meaning of this is what they're saying it is. It's Project Blue Beam. Okay. So, what is Project Blue Beam? And Roseanne Barr was able to help us with that. She said, "Here we go. Project Blue Beam. Roseanne here is pushing this. It poses the idea that the government is faking an alien invasion to usher in the Antichrist and one world government." Okay, so we're bringing in the Antichrist. It's an alien invasion, and it's going to be a one world government. Well, just anything else you want to add to that?
I think that's enough.
Wow. And of course, crazy Charlie Kirk is out there talking about this stuff too. You know, this is Charlie Kirk news.
Oh, good.
I just had to warn you. It's Charlie Kirk news. He has a news network now. He says we are effed. The drones are Project Blue Beam.
Wait, I
The
can
go-
almost hear him outside the studio
Oh.
here. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's right.
They're everywhere.
Charlie
They're
Kirk is
everywhere.
right.
Are they coming to
Roseanne.
watch us now?
I
Are
think-
they
oh, they're
spying
right
on the
outside
John and
the
Gordy
window.
show?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
they're-
Hey,
wave
just
to
wave.
them.
Wave.
Yeah.
They're probably recording this.
Okay.
Ooh.
Go. Boy, they came and they went. Okay.
Well,
They
Char-
spotted us. Now they're going to come and get us.
this is the first time I've ever seen that Charlie Kirk is right. And he says the government is not investigating. They are doing this. Whatever you see in the coming days is not good. Wow, that's pretty brilliant. You know
Yes.
that you can
How does he
depend
come
on
up with stuff
Charlie
like that?
Kirk
Just-
news is just riveting.
That's amazing.
By the way,
He got it right. for a
that
change.
stupid comment that I just read
Yeah.
was viewed by 7.8 million people.
Charlie Kirk has that many people.
I'm
Wow.
telling you, this right-wing news web that they have out there is just crazy, and that's why Trump is, basically saying that is why he won. All right.
Because of the Charlie Kirks of
Yeah,
the
in
world,
fact,
Joe Rogan.
why don't we
and
play that?
all those.
I've got Cut 92, and this is Trump podcast appears to have impacted the 2024 voters. All right, and this is from Breitbart. Oh, well, let's check it out here.
Trump made hay with young people. He made hay with young people. Why?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I pinpointed this, and one of the biggest stories of this election that very few people are talking about is his podcasting strategy, which it seems obvious in retrospect, but it was truly revolutionary that what he did at the very end of the campaign is he was hitting these huge shows that were apolitical. A lot of them were comedians, and a lot of them spoke to people that were gettable voters who their whole impression of Donald Trump, Larry, was that he was this bad orange man that was filtered through the establishment media. They did the math, the Trump campaign, that only 37% of the people who are voters are getting their news from the MSM. And they went around it and they went to these podcasters. It was truly brilliant. This is one of the most unbelievable culture shifts of our time, and it's only going to get better for us.
Okay, so it's getting better for them, you know,
Right.
in this right-wing web of nightmarish news. At the same time, people are moving away from mainstream news because Trump has vilified them and said that they're lying.
Yeah,
They're
fake
constantly
news.
lying. Fake
Been
news.
saying that for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say it enough, and people start doubting whether it's something that they should watch. Believe.
Yeah, they start thinking, who can you believe?
Right.
Right? Just the lies just keep coming.
And that's what people are mostly worried about with the Trump administration, new presidency, is that they're going to undermine everything and create a question mark for everyone in the country about news, everything they hear and see, and it'll create doubt in this country when it comes to the responsibility of government.
Right. And doubt and apathy, too.
Yeah.
People just don't care anymore.
So we have to come back from that eventually.
It's a long walk back.
Not good.
No.
Not good. Okay, let's get to something just as crazy. And this is Nancy Mace. So you probably heard about this already. Midas Touch got a hold of this, and they got to the bottom of this victimhood that Nancy Mace is going through right now. She's walking around with a brace on her arm.
What happened?
Yeah, but she shook hands with a transgender individual.
Oh.
Let's play cut 86. Let's see what
Nancy Mace announces on Tuesday that she was assaulted by a transgender activist. She wrote the following, quote, "Yes, I was physically accosted tonight. More to come." Mace called the police on this individual, and they ended up getting arrested. And Mace spent all day Wednesday walking around with this giant cast on her arm. Later, she wrote, quote, "I was physically accosted at the Capitol tonight by a pro-trans man," and she censored the word trans, you could see. "One new brace for my wrist and some ice for my arm, and it'll heal just fine." Nancy Mace is a complete and total liar. It turns out that Nancy Mace went to a national foster youth event at the Capitol when she was approached by a transgender activist named James McIntyre. And 3 witnesses say that McIntyre did nothing more than shake her hand normally and asked her to protect the rights of transgender people. That's it. That's all that happened. And Mace got this person arrested and lied about being assaulted. And this isn't the first time that Mace has been caught in a hoax. In 2021, she claimed that her house had been vandalized with Antifa symbols and profanity, but the people quickly realized that the writing around her home just so happened to be in her exact handwriting. These upside-down U's that she drew to dot the I's were a dead giveaway. Something is seriously wrong with Nancy Mace.
God. You know, when you do, it's something clever like an upside down U for a dotted I. Yeah, things get a little obvious at a certain point. They're not brilliant people, and Nancy Mace is just one of those individuals. All right.
Well, I hope she's going to be okay. She go to the doctor and she got a cast and maybe had an X-ray.
Well, I'm sure she had it examined by an actual physician.
We
Maybe
should send her a
RFK Jr. looked at it. Who knows?
We should send her a get well card.
Oh, God.
She'll be okay.
Somebody wrote here, Trump is like the monorail salesman from The Simpsons.
Okay.
We're
getting
or
plenty.
here,
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk is another Scott Walker.
That's from Mark in the sack there.
That's right.
Okay.
And when people are desperate, they are easier to manipulate and control.
Well, that's true. Matt from Middleton, thank you for that text. You can text us at 608-879-8255.
Which describes us, by the way. We've been desperate for a long time. So Catherine is now manipulating and controlling us like puppets here.
Like marionettes. Yeah. That's it. Okay, coming up next, we are ready for the Dane County Humane Society dating game.
Oh, gosh.
The question is if you are ready, Gordy.
Really? Okay. We'll find out what it's all about coming up on John and Gordy in the Morning.
Oh, here we have somebody on. Yes, Elizabeth. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hi there. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's John and Gordy. That's John. I'm Gordy.
Hi, John.
Good to have you with us. Okay, so are you going to introduce the dating? How are we going to? Do we have an introduction to this, or how do we do
I'll play the
this?
music coming
Okay.
in.
All right.
And I've never watched the show.
Okay, good.
No.
But
Now, Elizabeth, you have 3 contestants.
yes, and I've got the graphic, but you're not allowed to see it.
I'm
yet,
not
Gordy.
allowed to see it. Okay.
Yeah,
Is there a snake?
Can you
in
just
one
tell
of
me
these
that
battles?
are these 3 different animals?
they're different animals. Yes, but I
Okay.
won't tell you what they are.
All right. Am I allowed to ask questions?
Are
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You're just supposed to have a conversation with
Okay.
are
the,
any of them
the
dangerous?
contestants.
Do they have venom?
I'll ask the questions, but you can feel free to expound. Do we have names for these animals?
Are they known as
Yes.
man-eaters?
John, you'll
Okay.
be able to see them, and it has the name by their
okay.
picture on the graphic, so you can see it.
So, Elizabeth, we'll introduce you. We'll talk a little bit about the Dane County Humane Society and my quest to get a dog here
Yeah,
sometime in the
and
next
then we'll
few
get
weeks or
into it.
whatever.
Coming in 15 seconds, pretty quick here.
Okay.
And I think we'll have Elizabeth describe each contestant. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, are you ready to do that?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Welcome back to the John and Gordy Morning Show. And now it's time to play the dating game with the Dane County Humane Society. Hey, all right. Jim Lang is not with us.
You don't have the big glasses that he used to wear.
No. But we do have Elizabeth with us from the Dane County Humane Society. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Good morning.
Now, I'm not looking at the screen, but if our listeners want to, they can check it out on YouTube or Facebook or X somewhere, and they can see what John is looking at right now.
That's right. Ooh.
And Elizabeth, I guess how this is going to work, I guess everybody knows, or maybe some people know, I've been looking for a dog for a while. I lost my last dog a couple of years ago and been holding off on getting I would prefer a dog. I guess I'm open to some other options, but in any case, you are going to describe our contestants for today, and we'll do several rounds of this, I think, over the next few weeks, and perhaps out of all of this, maybe I'll select a new companion.
That would be nice. They're a little hard to live with at this point.
I guess so. But, Elizabeth, how are things at the Dane County Humane Society this morning?
They're going good. We've been pretty busy lately. I know we're getting a transfer of some more pets to add to the pool to choose from soon. So it's exciting.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we start out with you describing, there are 3 contestants. Is that correct?
Yes.
There
Okay.
are.
Okay. I think some music might help on this. So why don't you tell us who the contestants are this morning? Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so we've got our first contestant. It comes as a package deal. So we've got Cookie and Corny. And then we've got Stetson. And then we've got Snow Snow.
Wait, what was the last one?
Snow Snow.
Snow?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's focus on what was the first one's name again?
Cookie and Corny.
Cookie and Corn. So there are 2.
2 for 1, yep.
2 for 1.
They're a bonded pair.
Okay. How old are they?
They're adults, we're not exactly sure, but we think about a year old. So
Do they have 4 legs each?
they do.
Okay. Do they have fur?
They do.
Okay. John, would you like to help me out with any other question? You want to give me a...
I would like to, but I can't really see the picture very well.
You know,
gotta zoom in on it a little more.
Well, zooming in would really help, but
I'll say
Okay.
while they're small in size, they've got a big personality.
okay, there it is.
Okay. All right. Let's
All
move
right.
on to contestant number 2.
Stetson.
Stetson?
Stetson.
What can
Yeah.
you tell? How big is Stetson? Is Stetson bigger than a bread box?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Is it?
Much bigger.
Does it have a tail
He does have a tail.
and 4 legs?
4 legs. Yep.
2 eyes?
2 eyes. He's got a nose.
Does it have fur?
Fur. Yep.
Is it long hair fur or short hair fur?
Kind of between short or yeah.
Stetson is.
You know,
okay.
you could ask the same set of questions for the next
What's
contestant as
number
well.
3?
Snow.
Snow.
So let's kind of cruise
What is
past the
that?
4 legs tail
4
thing.
legs. He's got fur.
What can you tell me about Snow? How old is Snow?
Snow's an older lady, so she's about 10.
Okay. 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Very mature.
Okay. Does it seem like a happy, friendly animal?
Oh yes, she's a confident and very affectionate lady.
All right.
Okay. I'm sort of leaning toward the second one.
Stetson.
I think that would be my selection for this week.
All right.
And maybe move on to the next round. Okay.
All right.
He definitely knows how to steal the spotlight. So.
Okay. And I'm going to guess Stetson is a dog. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay.
Stetson looks like he's stealing something
Can
as
I
well.
Can I look at Stetson? Okay. Oh,
Does he have a
Stetson looks very
frisbee in his
friendly.
mouth? Is that what's?
Okay, and so Snow is a cat, and I can't see the first.
Yeah, I don't know what those
It's
are.
a pair of, are they
Hamsters?
guinea pigs?
They're
or
guinea
hamsters?
pigs.
Guinea
Guinea
pigs.
Guinea
Okay.
pigs.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're both male.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I hope somebody else adopts the other two, but I would go right now with Stetson as being my choice in this round, and we'll have another round in a couple of weeks, right?
All right.
Is that the way that works, Elizabeth? All right. Well, thank you very much. I think this was very successful for the very first time
We
around.
found out that they have 4 legs, a tail,
They all have fur.
and fur.
Well, those things are important.
They
Hey,
are.
I mean, yeah, you could get a hairless Sphinx cat on here or something. You never know.
Elizabeth, thanks for playing our game, and we love the people at the Dane County Humane Society. You do good work. People want to find out more about what you're up to. What's the website?
Yep, it's www.giveshelter.org.
All right. And we appreciate all that you do
Yeah.
for all the pets.
And for putting
we
up
have,
with
and
Gordy
for putting
and
up
me.
with our shenanigans. All right.
Okay.
you.
Take care.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay. Somebody wrote in, Gary writes in, what's a bread box? Okay. Yes. And we didn't mention, well, yeah, I think we did mention it was on YouTube a couple of times.
It was on YouTube,
okay.
yeah. Well,
so you can go back and look.
Probably still is. You know?
Okay. Again, Elizabeth, thank you so much. Yeah. We appreciate it. Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
I think that went reasonably well.
You would.
So
I'm sitting. I'm sitting here ready
it's got
to
it.
pack my bags and leave.
I need better questions, I guess.
No, no.
Stetson, I couldn't.
See, you stumbled on the problem that they're all animals.
I want to bring back the one-legged dog. I want to see a one-legged dog from the Dane County Humane Society.
I know that was my mistake.
Okay. That went well. Okay. I can't wait for the meeting today. Okay. We're coming. What do we got the big story straight ahead and a whole lot more. Sure do. Come back, please.
As we were saying, let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy Show.
The following program, the John and Gordy Morning Show, is brought to you by John Peterson and Gordy Young, a wholly owned subsidiary of John and Gordy Productions, in association with Civic Media and the John and Gordy Company, Incorporated International. And now, here they are, John and Gordy. We're sorry.
International. That's sorry, 92.7 WMDX. And it is John and Gordy in the morning, and you're welcome to it. It's not looking too bad out there right now.
It's supposed to be cloudy, and it looks like some of the clouds are starting to break up and move out. So
yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, some sunshine.
It's just burning off. The sun is coming up.
Clouds don't burn, but okay. You can think that if you want. Kind of cool if they did.
Boy, this is really kind of festered inside hasn't over the many years where people say, the fog just burned off.
Yeah, it doesn't burn.
Fog doesn't burn.
Imagine the havoc it would wreak if fog did burn.
I know.
Somebody lights a match to light a cigarette or something, the entire atmosphere goes up in flames.
Yes, that would be terrible.
Oh, God.
Right now it's 33 degrees. We expect highs about 36 today. By the way, just a recap of the Dane County Humane Society dating game that we just played. Those animals are available for adoption, the animals that we were talking about.
That's right.
So just contact the Humane Society if you would be interested, okay? So just don't think that Stetson is not available. He is still available, even that's the one I selected for hopefully the next round. But, if somebody else wants to adopt him, go for it.
All right.
Okay?
Well,
all right.
Thanks for clearing that up.
We'll have another round of the dating game in a week or so. Couple of weeks.
All right. Well, that makes sense.
2 weeks,
right?
Okay.
In a couple of weeks.
I think every 2 weeks we're doing this.
We have to wait now. Oh
well,
no! I had so much fun this time around.
Well, he's gonna take Stetson on a date, and if it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't go well, then we have another round of the dating game.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, if you would come to a meeting once in a while, you'd be up on these things, John. But you're Mr. Oh, I'm busy. I got to.
Well, you know me.
Got to do stuff.
I'm always taking a nap. All right.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on to something just unbelievable, and we're seeing this unwind before our very eyes. All of this stuff is happening. Look,
the whole world's changing.
Here's the thing: Trump says he's going to be a dictator on day one, right?
Right.
He is a dictator before day one. Come on, folks.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It's already happening. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Taking over.
This is awful. The Mad King Donald is making comments that just don't sound very smart. He's still pretty dumb about tariffs and all the effects of tariffs, right? But here it is. Keep this in mind as you listen. We have a free trade agreement with Canada. And it's called the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement. It's pretty spelled out there.
It's an agreement between Mexico, Canada, and the U.S.
And you know who negotiated that? Trump in his last term.
Right.
Okay.
Now he's not happy with this?
Now he's not happy. He said, boy, he's getting ripped off like crazy. Does he remember that this is his agreement?
Yeah, he canceled NAFTA, right?
Yeah. So just keep this in mind as we listen to it. This is Cut 113.
Okay. I spoke with the president of Mexico, and as you know, I spoke with Justin Trudeau of Canada, and we told them it's not fair, not right. You can't let these people come into our country.
It's your agreement.
And they understand. They're very much on notice, and they're going to have to stop this from happening. They're going to have to stop it. We lose a lot of money to Mexico. We lose a lot of money to Canada, tremendous amount. We're subsidizing Canada. We're subsidizing Mexico. That can't go on. Then I get along with the people of Mexico and Canada very well, but we can't let that happen.
No, you don't get along with
Why are we supporting and giving other countries hundreds of billions of dollars? It's not fair. It's not right. And the people of Mexico and Canada fully understand that.
You agreed to that.
We've talked about it before, but now we're doing something about it.
Talked about it.
But ridiculous. Again, it's the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement.
That he negotiated.
Yeah. And it says here, outsmarted by Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, and that took us to where we are today of Canada taking advantage of Trump. Oh, no, not that. Now,
Well,
what is this?
Canada's going through their own
a lot of
problems
turmoil right now.
They're talking about Trudeau maybe
a lot of ministers
resigning.
are leaving. Their finance minister is leaving just the day that she was going to announce the next budget. And now Trudeau is threatening to quit.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the politics up there, so I can't really make comment on it. All I know is that there is a lot of turmoil in Canada, and it's all because of this person. I really want to call him dumb. He's not a smart person, all right? Trump is not a smart person.
He's hiring a lot of strange people to be in his cabinet.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all shakes out.
Of course.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be a good thing. But
well, a parliament member up there came out recently and he said a whole bunch of stuff, which I thought was very, very true. And this is going to be cut 108. We were at this point yesterday when everything blew up, okay? But I think this is cut 108. It's about 324, right? Okay, let's play it.
Okay.
When the United States insisted that Canadians, young men, go and die in the rice paddies of Vietnam, we said, no, we're not going to send our young men to die in Vietnam. It's a wrong war, and it was a wrong war. And we opened our borders to many great young Americans who were not going to go die needlessly in Vietnam.
That's right.
When they tried to pressure us to go into the false attack on Iraq, we said no. And we were under enormous pressure then. And in the 1980s, when Ronald Reagan was launching horrific violence in Latin America, and El Salvador and Guatemala, and then they were deporting thousands of people out of the United States who were trying to escape the genocide that was happening in the hills of Guatemala, they put enormous pressure on us to close our border because people who could not go back to the death squads in El Salvador and Guatemala were trying to cross the border at Buffalo to get into Canada to be safe. And at that time, Brian Mulroney said, we have to have the same border principles as the United States. And Canadians stood up and said, no, those are not our values. And we pushed that back because we could not send people back to the death squads. So yes, they are our neighbors, but we have stood up to them. We're in a different situation with Donald Trump, a convicted predator who's seriously undermining the democratic process in the United States, and he thinks he can just push us around.
Exactly.
He insults us.
Yep.
You know, the conservatives seem to like it because he's insulting our prime minister, but he's not really insulting the prime minister. He's insulting Canadians, calling us the 51st state.
That's right, exactly.
You know, once there was a Canada that had a flag that didn't need to be waved. A flag that represented who we are. We didn't boast about it. It wasn't until our flag was appropriated by conspiracy haters and stuck on pickup trucks, promoting all kinds of disinformation. Our flag was something that just said, it's about values. And it's something that we all understood. We didn't have to brag about. We didn't have to brag about that when we were a country of 11 million people and the Americans were saying, oh, we don't want to go to war. On the very first day Hitler invaded Poland, 11 million Canadians stood up and created the fourth largest air force in the world, the fourth largest navy in the world. We sent our young people all across the world to defend the notion of freedom and parliamentary democracy. And we paid an enormous price. And we came back and we didn't wave the flag. Then we just came back and did what we did because we were Canadians. But here we are with this falsehood being perpetrated by the member who lives in Stornoway, that whatever Donald Trump says, he will use to burn the house down to the prime minister. So he's using this falsehood on fentanyl, which is an absolute falsehood. I have the Drug Enforcement Agency unclassified reports on fentanyl. Fentanyl, they write about China. They write about India. They write about Mexico. There's just one very tiny thing about a small amount coming from Canada. That's not the issue. Fentanyl's not the issue, but the Conservatives will use that falsehood, threatening a 25% tariff.
There you go. Yeah, he leveled a lot of stuff out there.
What's that guy's name again?
I don't know. Why ask?
Well, okay, he's a member of the Canadian Parliament,
yes,
though, right?
he is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie Angus, I believe his name is.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You know what we forgot to do?
What?
We forgot to tell people that there's a contest going on right now.
You're right. Well, we can do this right
All right,
now.
let's
then.
do it right now. Yeah.
We got
Between
a couple of minutes
stories.
here. Let's
Yep.
do this. Okay, it's the grown-up gift list text to win contest. You ready for this?
Yep.
You know, at these following hours, 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m., we let you know what the keyword is, and the keyword this time around is Carol, C-A-R-O-L, Carol, okay? Like a Christmas carol.
All right.
And this time up for grabs is an overnight stay at Chula Vista. So get on the Civic Media app. You can download that easily enough and text us the word Carol. Okay. And again, this time around, it's for an overnight stay at Chula Vista. You'll also be entered into the grand prize drawing. We've got all kinds of great grand prizes that we'll be giving away at the end of the week. 8 grand prize winners will be chosen at random. It's a statewide contest. And we've got terrific gifts in that. Where are they? Oh, yes, a couple of robot vacuums, snowblower, a couple of luggage sets, and espresso machines, and a humidifier. So all those grand prizes will be given away at the end of the contest. Again, the keyword is Carol. Text us at the Civic Media app.
How do you spell Carol again?
C-A-R-O-L. Carol. Oh, Carol. Play the Neil Sedaka song. Okay, you're looking at me like, who's Neil Sedaka? Never mind.
I know 2 songs
Doesn't
by Neil
mind.
Sedaka.
Okay, what 2?
Calendar Girl
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Breaking Up
Breaking
is
Up's
hard
hard
to
to
do.
do.
Yeah.
But Oh Carol is a song too. I mean,
That's right. That was a good song. Yeah, you could find that.
John,
Play
you
it,
hate
maybe.
Neil Sedaka, don't you?
No, I like
He was a great
the old
songwriter.
stuff from the 50s and 60s. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great songwriter.
Yeah. Had a few hits.
Yeah, and he had a disco hit. Something that was Dancing in the Rain or
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Something
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
remember that.
That was a good one.
Okay. Anyway, our grown-up...
I mean, schlocky, but good.
Schlocky?
That,
Okay.
Look, just because I like a song doesn't mean I'd listen to it.
Okay. This portion of the John and Gordy Morning Show is brought to you by Verlo Mattress. Sleep better and dream bigger on a handcrafted Verlo mattress. Available on Madison's east side or west side, or just go online at verlo.com. They have lots of accessories. Make some perfect Christmas gifts. Okay?
All right, here's
Here we go.
old Carol, and I just want to mention the story that's coming up is that Trump has changed his mind on TikTok.
Okay. And Brittany Merlot will tell us what's going on weather-wise in just a couple of minutes on John and Gordy in the Morning.
No matter what you do, oh, Carol, I'm so in love with you.
Activity is a threat to public safety. Look at all the states they're seeing. People are just flying them for
That's
the hell
because
of it.
it's catching on and people are doing it because they can.
You watching the drones?
Yes, we are.
What do we think about the drones, Brittany? What's your take on it?
I don't know. I think it's
Do you
weird.
have a drone?
No. I should actually. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think if people are just flying them.
What
for
is
the hell
the
of
what
it.
is the Star Wars thing? The attack of the what is it? What is
I don't
it?
know.
Attack of the Clones?
Clones. Yes, attack of the drones. Oh God, I'm just my mind is just turning into mush watching this
Right?
stuff on
20
on
seconds.
TV.
Which state is it in
I don't
now?
know what's happening here.
Yeah, it started in Jersey, right? But now it's all
Yeah.
over the place.
God, it's over the east.
Yeah, there's like half a
10
dozen
seconds.
states.
Yeah.
People are flying drones all over the place.
We have more things to do in Wisconsin. Oh, God. That sounds like a lot of little drones.
Flight of the drones?
Yes.
Is that what this is?
92.7 WNPX, John and Gordy in the morning, along with Brittany Merlot. We're all watching scenes of the drones.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What are you? This is Carol of the Bells, not drone music.
It sounds like drones.
Yes,
it does sound like drones.
okay.
It does sound like drones.
Yes, and Carol, by the way, that's the word to text in. That's the key word this hour. Before 8 a.m., text us the word Carol, and you'll be in the contest to win the overnight stay at Chula Vista. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, the thing here is, our minds are turning into mush.
Yes.
Watching
Too
people capture drones in the sky. We're watching really completely stupid videos of drones being captured.
Yep.
Well,
Flying
captured
around
the-
the night sky. I don't understand this. Please stop the story. Let's oh, there
Oh,
they
I hear
are
'em.
outside
Oh,
our
no.
window
They're
now.
outside our window again. Oh. It's a great
Just
big
wave.
drone.
They're
Look,
probably
there's 7 or
recording
8 of
this.
them.
Just smile
They're
and
just
wave.
looking at us.
Smile and wave, boys.
Oh,
Smile and
okay.
wave.
Tell him we have ET and he wants to go home. God, I'm just stuck
Leave
with
us alone. Brittany, what do you make of these drones? What you?
Oh.
You're a
They're
meteorologist.
affecting the weather, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, what in the heck are they doing up there? Get them out. Get them out. I have no idea what to think about these things.
know.
It's
I know.
madness. It's
This
madness.
is just mindless.
Well, let's get to something you do understand. That's
Yes,
the weather.
the weather.
We started out with a lot of clouds. Some of them are breaking up here in Madison this morning.
Yeah, the
And-
sun burned it off.
Okay, here we
The
go.
sun's
again.
trying to win.
But-
Yeah, it's trying.
yeah.
Oh,
But
it's not going to
it's
win.
looking like it's going to be mild, at least temperatures. are
Yeah,
gonna be
not too
mild
bad.
today.
Not too shabby. Mid 30s today, right? Above freezing, all ahead of your light snow that's pushing in this evening. Probably an inch or so.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh,
We're gonna
no.
get snow tonight. Really?
You are. It's probably going to start around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening, lasting till about midnight or so, putting down like an inch. Like I said, not too bad. But then tomorrow, temperatures crash. So we'll go from highs in about the upper 20s all the way to the teens by night. And then on Thursday, I'm excited for it, our first widespread snowstorm across the state. Woo woo.
Well, I'm glad you're happy about it. I'm not. But, I
No.
got to say,
Yeah.
this is a better snowfall than our previous winters where we kind of first put down a sheet of ice.
Right.
And then snow. And that wreaked havoc for the entire winter here in Madison, at least. So this time, it'll just be snow, no ice underneath, will be good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it will be good.
Better.
It's going to look good. About 3 to 5 inches is possible on Thursday, you guys.
3 to 5 inches on Thursday.
I can't do
What?
that.
Is the snowblower ready?
Yes.
No.
Good.
Yeah, it starts
Then you're fine.
immediately. All right.
Okay. Then after that, what about the weekend?
Oh, the weekend looks fantastic. Sunshine pops out, mid 20s, nothing to worry about. So a great weekend. It's just
All right.
Thursday. You'll be not so happy.
Okay. But skiers might like it. Is that enough to stick around the 3 to 5 inches?
I
Or,
suspect
people
some
going
skiers.
to Cascade or
Yes,
Devil's
yes.
Head or somewhere?
Yeah,
It's not gonna-
you drive up to Baraboo every now and then.
I do.
Still,
I do.
They've got snow on the hill.
Yeah.
That they
well,
made,
they have
right?
They have a ton of snowmakers up there.
Yeah.
It sounds like this is going to be perfect weather for it because once you get the snow and you get cold temperatures, it's going to stay nice and fluffy and it's not going to, mat down right away and turn into ice.
No, not
So it's
soon.
perfect, right?
Right, until next week. That's when we start to head towards the 40s again. So if some of it is still around, it is going to start to mat down and ice over because
Okay.
it does want to hit near 40 by Christmas.
Brittany, could you just clear up one thing, though? I think
What?
Gordy thinks that the sun does not burn off moisture in the air.
Moisture in the air or like the
Yes,
actual snow?
It does. The moisture. He's
Doesn't
when
burn.
it's going to burn.
Snow doesn't
off
burn.
Fog,
Fog doesn't
it's gonna
burn.
Burn.
It's not burning. It's
Off.
evaporating.
I do like the term burning, though. It's burning off. But he's right. Gordy's right.
Thank you. Thank you, Britt.
I swear it was burning up there. All right, that's okay.
Evaporating, burning, same difference. Not really.
That's right.
Okay.
Kind of.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much. We
Thanks,
appreciate
guys. Have a
right,
good day.
you putting up with
All
us.
right, you
Yeah,
too.
thank you. It's Brittany Merlot, our civic media meteorologist.
Well, I told everybody initially, and now I'm right, and I hate to bring that up. I hate to rub it in everybody's face.
What?
I mean, only those people who believe that TikTok was a danger to everybody in America. It was just the dumbest thing in the world. And we should have at least, seen the red flag go off, because we had Mike Gallagher, who was a Republican. He was the guy responsible for finally banning TikTok in the U.S., a Republican banning TikTok. And that was because they did not like the liberal, younger message being sent out there by the software. Now, it's okay if government thinks that maybe China has some kind of intertwined information in TikTok. That's fine. I get that.
But what about the kids using it?
Keep the software off government computers, right?
Sure.
But let the public have TikTok. And to ban it, it was the dumbest idea ever. And a lot of Democrats fell for this crap because they don't understand technology either. So now we're going back on it. And why are we going back on it? Well,
What?
Trump likes TikTok now.
Oh, he likes it now?
Yes. It turns
What
out
happened?
that these MAGA kids made the difference for Trump in the election. Let's check this out. 114.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok has something to do with that. Now, Joe Rogan did, and some of the other people that were recommended by my son Barron, he knew names. I said, "Who is that? Tell me, who's that?" "Dad, you got to be kidding. I can't believe you don't know." And I did those interviews, and it was actually sort of cute, if you want to know the truth. But we did them, and that had an impact. But TikTok had an impact, and so we're taking a look at it. But, we won youth. Republicans are always 30 points down in youth. I don't know why, but we ended up finishing. There was one poll that showed us down about 30. We were 35 or 36 points up with young people. So I have a little bit of a warm spot in my heart, I'll be honest. Yes, President.
Yeah, now he's considering helping TikTok avoid the impending U.S. ban. No ideology, no values, no moral compass. Trump is corrupt to the core, my friend. Absolutely corrupt.
Got a
It
warm
helped
place
him
in his
win,
heart for
supposedly,
TikTok.
and now he wants to bring it back.
Okay.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Kind of flip-flop.
It helped me.
Another flip-flop.
Wow.
Okay. As we move along, it is 7:29, and
I'm glad that we're going to keep it.
yeah, I know.
I think it's a
Well,
great
you and
platform.
Trump agree. It's all
wait,
good now.
uh-oh. Wait, you're right.
We'll be back with more of John and Gordy in the morning.
Let the sun shine.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
They said these guys were washed up 3 decades ago, but here they are again on the air in Madison on WMDX. Why? Conspiracy? Or just another dumb program director?
Thank you, Stephanie Miller. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
She'll be on right after us. This portion of the John and Gordy Morning Show is brought to you by Verlo Mattress. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted Verlo mattress available on Madison's east side or west side, or just go to Verlo.com.
Say, Gordy, what's that key word for the contest?
Well,
Captain?
Sam, I'm so glad you asked because I've got it right here, the key word, and you have to get this into us before 8 o'clock. Carol, Carol. Just get on the Civic Media app and put in the word Carol.
Thank God for you and that sheet. What would we do without you? How would we run this contest?
I don't know, but I know that somebody on the statewide Civic Media app is going to get an overnight stay at Chula Vista this hour if they text in that word and we draw their name.
What a deal.
Okay.
All right.
And then they're entered in for the grand prize drawings, which will happen at the end of the week.
Just want to mention also, you can text in as well your comments, anything you want to say about the topics we cover here on the John and Gordy in the Morning Show.
Yeah, and somebody phoned us at our phone number, 608-879-8255, but then they hung up.
They probably dialed the wrong number or something.
It's the wrong number? Thanks, Sam.
We'll take
608-879-8255. Okay. All right. Happy to have you call in. Okay. Or text us.
Okay, so
What do you got?
Well, we continue to hear about the deficit, the debt. You know, the U.S. has dug itself into a deep hole here.
Yeah.
And you know why?
Why?
Tax cuts. Tax cuts.
Tax cuts?
Yeah, the Center for American Progress. I may have covered this before. I want to bring it up again because this is a hot topic. Trump is taking over because they want to make all these cuts because we're spending way too much money. So why do we need to make these cuts?
Yeah, why?
Tax cuts are primarily responsible for the increasing debt ratio, all right? Without the Bush and Trump tax cuts, debt as a percentage of the economy would be declining permanently.
What?
You heard that, right?
I did.
Yeah, without those, the economy, the debt percentage would be declining permanently. Not bad, not bad. Why don't we do that?
Why don't we?
Why do we have Doge when all we have to do is not have a tax cut, repeal the previous, well, that's actually, that's expiring at the end of 2025, and just repeal the Bush tax cuts as well. And we're in a good place.
Well, why doesn't that happen?
All right, I'm going to just read part of this here. Okay. If not for the Bush tax cuts and their extensions, as well as the Trump tax cuts, revenues would be on track to keep pace with spending indefinitely. And the debt ratio, debt as a percentage of the economy, would be declining. Instead, these tax cuts have added $10 trillion to the debt since their enactment and are responsible for 57% of the increase in the debt ratio since 2001. And that's when the Bush tax cuts went in place. And get this, more than 90% of the increase in the debt ratio is what would happen if we took out the costs for the COVID-19 pandemic and the Great Recession. We had to pay for those, but those are one-time costs. So they go away. So when they go away, basically 90% of the debt that we have, the ratio now is responsible, is caused by the tax cuts that were put in place by George W. and Trump. So if we do not renew the tax cut that Trump put in place and repeal the Bush tax cuts, we'd be in balance.
Yeah, be in good shape.
Yeah.
So just why not just do that?
Why not do that? This is the solution. We don't need Doge. We don't need to cut social programs. We don't need to complain about spending because actually we have taxes that we send to the government to spend on us. It's it's not
our money.
It's not for tax cut purposes. It's for spending on us.
So Clinton was the last one to actually have a balanced budget.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Was that the year that I'm seeing is 2001? Is that correct?
Yes.
Before that, since 1960, it's only happened 2 other times, in 1960 and in 1969. Out of all of those decades, those are the only 3 years that we've had a balanced budget.
Yeah. And that's and the thing is, Republicans put us in this debt, and they continually put us in this debt, and then they say they need tax cuts, and it's the trickle down. What is it? Voodoo economics.
Oh,
that
voodoo!
They called it.
Voodoo economics. Yeah.
And it's never worked, and it continues to not work and prove itself over and over again. And
But
we
the
still
Republicans
continue.
love it.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the rich people need more money.
But the public buys into this crap. I mean, they elected Trump to cut all this spending. Maybe we're spending too much on us. Maybe we should just continue to pay for their health care and not pay for our own eventually. Let us go broke. That's fine. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up. It's the tax cuts that are putting us in this position. It is not spending.
Mm-hmm.
If Congress wants to decrease deficits, it should look first at reversing the tax cuts that we've already put in place. There you go.
Okay.
I thought it was important.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
All right. Now, you shared something with me, and this is John Pavlovich, and he put out this interesting article about America choosing the monster. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes, the truths are that self-evident, and this is what he wrote, a viable healthcare alternative is not coming. That's what we've chosen by choosing the monster as our next president. Taxes for the middle class are not coming down.
Nope.
Project 2025 is going to be implemented.
Yeah.
Mexico is still not paying for the wall.
Yeah, still not paying.
Immigrants are going to be persecuted.
Yep. Stand by. Go ahead.
I'm just looking at our next caller here.
I understand.
Protections for those with special needs are evaporating. The poor are getting thrown to the lions. Public schools are being thrown under the bus. The elderly are being left to fend for themselves. The environment is being willfully set on fire. It can start on fire. I told you that. The economy is going to be compromised. The whole system is being intentionally blown up. The rule of law in our government is being trod upon.
Okay.
Aside from the smallest percentage of the wealthiest in this nation, no one is going to be healthier, safer, or more financially secure. This is a nonpartisan tragedy. All right?
There you have it.
There you go.
Got a couple of calls.
All right,
here.
let's go to CJ first. He might have some input on the monster that we elected. All right, let's go. CJ, what do you got for us?
Good morning, CJ.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
Once again, I got to tell the rest of the story.
That's right.
Paul Harvey.
That's your thing.
I love that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, the mere fact is, it isn't the debt that's killing us. It's the interest we're paying on the debt. And it's now almost more than what we spend on the military.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we don't want these taxes to expire is because most small businesses, like civic media, I bet, file as individuals. So at least 60% of Americans will have a tax increase if these expire, because most small businesses file and claim as individuals, LLCs. And if they expire, you're going to see unemployment rise, because you're going to have businesses that their expenses are going to exponentially increase.
Well, what did small businesses do before the Trump tax cuts? How did that work out for them?
They passed, just like they will do, they passed their increases onto their customers.
Oh, okay.
And that hurts the people that work for those businesses, because they either can't afford to pay them more, or they're going to have to cut employees to meet their bottom line.
Well, here's the
So
thing. Here's the
want
thing, CJ. Here's the thing. What the Democrats proposed was tax cuts for the middle and lower class. That's what they proposed. But get rid of the tax cuts above a certain level. I think it was 400,000 or 500,000. So if we had done that, or if Kamala had won, that's what we'd be putting in place, and then the middle and lower classes would get that tax cut, the one you're talking about, CJ, and that would have been just fine.
Well,
but right now, and by the way, you're saying, well, it's the interest on the debt. Again, we get back to the debt. Forget about the interest. Get to the debt. The debt would be gone if we got rid of all these damn tax cuts and not renewed the tax cuts that are going to be put in place for the wealthy. All right, that's the problem. We got to do away with that. If we want to give tax credits or tax cuts to medium and lower income individuals, I'm all for it. I mean, we're supposed to spend these tax dollars on us. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. All right? Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. Because,
Okay.
Just like this administration said inflation was transitory, it isn't. We're still living with it. Even though it's down, it's 22% over 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you want to stretch it out. You want to bring back inflation, is what you're
no,
saying.
because here.
No, as
no,
a topic,
Trump
as a
tax
talking point, you want to bring back
if
inflation.
COVID wouldn't have happened,
It's down
guys,
now. It's down now. We don't have to talk about it anymore. It's done. We've taken
interest
care of
rates
inflation.
Are still up, and that's what interest rates are up, and that's what drove it down. Not inflation, not what Biden did with a supply chain, because he didn't.
Well,
And
I
the
can't.
mere fact that-
Yeah. I can't wait till
Okay.
Trump has to deal with the high price of beef, because that's predicted to go up. I know he's going to have to deal with the high price of chickens because of the the bird flu, and we've got to deal with the price of eggs because of the bird flu. But I know he's going to take care of all of that and get rid of all of that inflation immediately. Right?
Trump's tax cuts would have been a surplus to the Treasury if COVID wouldn't have happened. We want to be competitive with the rest of the world. If we raise our corporate taxes, like Biden and Harris wanted to do, to 28%, businesses are going to leave America again. They're coming back.
We have policy to prevent that from happening. If they want to do that, then sure, fine. The thing is, you just mentioned that corporations will move to another country. If that's how patriotic those companies are, then let them go someplace else. If that's what they want to do to the U.S., if that's their allegiance, let them do it. And then we can make our buying purchases based on that. Okay, CJ? All right?
CJ, we got to move along.
Doesn't happen that way, guys.
All right, man. All
Thanks
right.
for your call.
But thanks for telling us the rest of the story, CJ. Let's go to Dick now.
Dick, we got a couple of minutes here. If we can get to you quickly. Go ahead.
The only outlier in those years you brought up, 60, 69, you said, and then Clinton would have been 60, and that would have still been Eisenhower, and the corporate tax rate was very high in the 50s, and there were a lot of American companies. But my other question to CJ would be, how do you pay this interest on something that doesn't even exist? In other words, if the debt's gone,
right? Yeah,
I don't get it.
I know. That's exactly the problem. If we got rid of the tax cuts, we wouldn't have the debt. There wouldn't be the interest.
There you go.
On the debt.
Yeah, it makes
Correct?
sense. Yeah,
I don't
it makes
know.
sense.
All right, Dick.
Well,
Yeah.
I bring that up.
And somebody else brought up here, who is CJ going to blame when Trump makes inflation rise and fails to bring gas prices down under $2 a gallon?
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I got that energy gas price story coming up in a moment.
All right. All that and more when we return with John and Gordy in the morning.
terrific if you like eating leftovers.
Leftovers?
Leftovers?
I kept the leftovers.
The leftovers!
Just some leftovers. Leftovers for a week and a half.
He ate those leftovers.
Funeral leftovers. Leftovers. Enjoy.
92.7 WMDN.
Still a few minutes to get in on the keyword this hour. It is Carol. You need to text that keyword to us on the Civic Media app. Carol, C-A-R-O-L, before 8 o'clock. We'll have other keywords at 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. And up for grabs this hour is an overnight stay at Chula Vista. And anytime you enter, you're also in for the grand prize drawings. We actually will have 8 grand prize drawings at the end of the week. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Now we're talking about small businesses here. CJ brought the idea of small businesses up. We got a text here. Sub-Zero Freezer Company is an LLC.
Yes. There we go.
And they're a huge company pretending to be a small business to fool people like CJ. Again, you know, the definition, I looked it up here.
Yeah, what is it? Small
There's
business.
one, a firm revenue of $1 million to $40 million and employment of 100 to over 1,500 employees. Now, I read one where it's slightly different from that, under 500 employees, but it's a little confusing. But large companies can be considered small companies. Our messed up for-profit healthcare system is part of that debt, too. And let's see here. We have anything else here? I thought we did. Yeah.
There we go. Check the other text here.
CJ is a troll. All he has to do is talking points. Okay, well, we know that. Let's get to... we appreciate CJ giving us a call. Let's talk about big energy, okay? You know, the promise of bringing gas prices down. Every time they ask, well, how are you going to lower the price of food in the food market? Well...
Right. How are you going to do that?
He's going to lower gas prices.
Okay.
Everything that he's going to do to lower the prices of everything that we are talking about is based on lowering the price of gasoline. That's every answer he's ever given. I've marked this down.
Okay.
I made a mental note, okay?
But gas prices are really fairly reasonable right now.
Well, they are actually reasonable right now, and Yahoo Finance reporter Rick Newman is covering this. And let's listen to what he has to say about this.
Drill, baby, drill means produce more oil, which means prices go down, which means profits go down. I think Exxon and Chevron and Oxy and the big U.S. oil firms, I think they're pretty comfortable where prices are and supply are right now. I mean, we've got oil in the $60 to $70 range. They're making good money, and they're not facing the criticism that they have in the past about ripping off consumers because gas prices are too high. So they like it where it is. They don't want to produce all that much more oil. They are certainly going to like Trump's deregulatory moves. It's going to make it easier for them to do business. So that's what Trump's going to get on fossil fuels. And I guarantee you that Trump is going to say, regardless of what the facts are at some point early in his presidency, look, I've unleashed all this oil and natural gas drilling. Well, I did it. I said we were going to drill, baby, drill, and we're doing it. So maybe that's how Trump defines success.
Maybe. Also, this is more. Let's add more onto that. This is cut 110. Check this out.
Donald Trump has now broken his fourth promise to the American people, and he is yet to be inaugurated. Now, Donald Trump offered a miracle for lowering prices of everything from food, insurance, housing, energy, etc. In some cases, up to 50% by simply drilling more. And once again, I brought the receipts. Take a listen.
Would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable.
Drill, baby, drill. There it is. Just so simple. Why didn't anybody else think of this? Well, according to energy executives, not so fast, Donald. The ExxonMobil CEO says that there will not be an oil boom. And he cites several reasons. Number one, that there's enough oil in market to satisfy demand right now. And the bigger one is that, look, we have an obligation to profits and shareholders, not to the price for the consumer. So simply saying drill, baby, drill was supposed to be Donald Trump's miracle cure. Well, that's off the table. So now we're going to need some adults to come up with an actual plan. Promises made, promises broken.
And we'll see, huh? We'll see where that goes. Yeah. And now they want to repeal the green energy credits that help the economy, help people buy things that are energy efficient. They want to do away with that. Let's check out Cut 98 here.
On green energy, I mean, this is complicated, many moving parts, but this now has momentum that goes beyond incentives from any government in the world, including the U.S. government. Sure, those help. And Trump could repeal some of those incentives, especially most likely the ones for people who buy electric cars. But this is an industry of the future, and it's a huge industry of the future. There's a ton of money going into green energy. Globally, there's more money going into green energy than it is going into fossil fuels. And if Trump changes the policies, that'll change a little. But this train has left the station, and this is a huge market that's going to continue for the most part. And I think that is part of the reason that Trump is probably not going to change very much. I think he's going to have a hard time changing this stuff because businesses are going to be coming to him saying, hey, man, there's a lot of money here. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this, again, is the train that has left the station for green energy.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
and then when we look at battery-operated vehicles, we're going to have this story hopefully tomorrow. Rachel Maddow covered the story last night.
Really?
And that is the massive amount of problems that Tesla is having. And now they want to do away with reporting when cars blow up and start burning and fatalities tied in with auto driving cars. They want to do away with the accumulation of that data.
They want to let go of that.
So
right?
Tesla will not be held accountable for all of the accidents.
They don't like the negative news.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, we'll get into that. That's going to do it for us for today's. Tomorrow's show, Substack blogger Mike McCabe will join us, as he does every Wednesday. Stephanie Miller's next. Have a great day. We'll talk to you first thing in the morning.
Let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy Show.